Good morning and welcome to the Money Minutes, friends. Thank you for tuning in. Today is International Women's Day. I would like to remind everyone we have 7 billion people in this world. 3.5 billion of them are women. And the other 3.5 would not exist or even be born without women. So let me just rephrase this International Women's Day. I think every day is a Women's Day. And today, my guest, Harpreet Wadehra, she's here. Thank you so much for making this time for us. She's a very busy accountant. She's a professional chartered accountant. She has her CPA, CA. Till April, it's a very busy time, and she accepted the offer to be here today with us on this special day for all of us. And I'd like to welcome her to our show. Harpreet, welcome to the Money Minute.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure being here.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Now, before I ask you anything about profession, about accounting, about money tips for our clients, I'd like to know who you are as a person, Harpreet.
So, who am I as a person? I'm a very family person. I love my family. From beginning to the end, they're my support system. Their happiness makes me happy.
I think all of us, you know what, for women, there is something about nature and family. These two things we are just so attached to, right?
And you know, again, it takes time to figure that out, right? What keeps you happy, what keeps you positive. But when you close your eyes and you think, you know what, now I'm stressed and what's going to make me happy, that's it. Family is the number one thing by far that comes into my mind. So Harpreet is somebody that loves what she does. I'm an accountant. I have my own practice. It took me a long time to figure out that this is what I wanted to do. But once I figured it out, now I know I just don't see myself doing anything else.
Really?
Yeah, I can't envision myself. Like, you know, people say, you know what, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? I say, no, I'm pretty content where I am. I'm happy where I am.
That's
I
right.
love what I do. And Harpreet is somebody that wants to empower other women to know that believe in yourself, to be who you want to be, and to accomplish all that you can be.
That's right, and that's the reason you accepted this invitation today.
Exactly.
Women's Day, empowering girls and women to be here on the show and helping all of us become a better person.
Yeah, it's a woman's world nowadays, especially. But with that said, though, I think women have so many more opportunities, right, that we just didn't have access to before.
That's right.
And also, at the same time, I think you know, women are not confined to being in a certain role and position. So if you attain for, you know, the top of the world, then you can get there.
You can achieve anything as long as you set your mind to it.
Yeah, and you know you want it. I think that's the hard part. Is oftentimes, you know, when I was growing older, or once I figured out that I wanted to be an accountant, I was like, you know, I want to work on that top floor of that tallest building in Toronto, and that's where I want to be.
Really?
And honestly, that was one of my goals, and that's okay, because at one point that's what I wanted to do. But now I know that's not what I want to do. That's not my priority.
So now, tell me more about how we can help this audience that's watching us today, and they will watch this video later as well. What tips can we give them? Maybe 2 or 3 tips that they can actually just include, adapt into their lifestyle and feel better.
So one of the common questions I ask clients when they come to me is how much, like, what are your monthly expenses? So, you know, have you kind of sat down and said, okay, these are my mortgage payments, these are my car payments, this is my personal shopping, etc., that I need to do. And I think that's a very important exercise to do, and not just to do 1 year and forget about it, because your needs change every year on a yearly basis, I would say. Because if you don't know what your monthly expenses are, then it's really hard to create a financial plan for you to make sure that, you know, when you're ready to when you're ready to retire, or even when you're ready to take the next step, when you want to buy, you know, another house, or you want to buy a rental property, well, how much money are you fixated to that you need? And then we build up a buffer on top of that.
Yeah.
So that's the number one, and actually a lot of younger professionals or younger people that are entering the job market, whether you're working somewhere, whether you have your own business, that's the number one item I tell them. Is figure out
basically knowing yourself as to where you stand.
Exactly.
Right?
What do you need? Like, what are your basic needs?
And I think in our profession, it's really important that people know what they're earning and what they're spending.
Right.
And 90% of the time when clients come in and I ask them, what's your budget?
They have no idea. They're like, well, we think it's $10,000 to $11,000, and I said, okay, well, can you list it out for me? And then they start listing, and they're like, oh, that's only about like $6,000-7,000. So I'm like, where's the rest of the money? And they say, we don't really know. So I think it helps to kind of put it in perspective too, is where are you really spending, where you don't really have to spend.
That's right. So first thing you want to do, guys, is make sure you know where you stand, how much you earn and what you spend on a monthly basis.
100%.
All right, tip number 2.
So tip number 2 is plan. I'm a big planner. What I tell clients is that, you should always, and a lot of younger people actually that are entering the market, it's harder for them because I feel like sometimes they're kept in a bubble by their parents, where the parents will do the tax returns for the kids, etc. So they don't really know, and then all of a sudden they have to now make these financial decisions, and then it's just like boom, the bubble pops, and they're like, what do I do?
Yes.
I have no idea.
Yes.
So you got to plan for it. So I'll give you an example in this case where I have a client. She just completed her residency. I'm talking now 4 or 5 years ago. She had just gotten married. And so when I met with her, we talked about whether she should incorporate, whether she should not, etc. What were the benefits? And we decided to incorporate, and then we were talking about how to take out the money in a tax efficient manner from the corporation. And again, what are your monthly expenses? What do you need? So when she told me, I said, okay, you need to create a buffer of this much every month, and that goes into your TFSA, or that goes into your RRSPs, or that just goes into your savings account altogether. We can split income this way with your spouse, etc. Get a line of credit, because in years that you're doing well, everybody wants to give you money, but in years when you need the money, you want to buy a house or a second property, it's harder to get lines of credits and mortgages in that year. So she did that. Basically, she followed my advice, and then 4 years after, when she's ready to buy her first house, she had no problems.
And they appreciate that so much.
Oh, she was so happy, and I had actually forgotten that we had done all these steps for that reason, and she brought it up to me. And she says, Harpreet, I feel so at ease. Already it's a stressful process. When you're living in a condo in Toronto, you're renting, it's different. And to move into a house is already stressful. But she says the finances were never a stressful process because we build up to that point.
That's right. So planning, guys, that's another thing you need to think about. And you need to plan in a way so that you know your goals, you know your objectives, and you're sitting down with a professional to say, how do I get there?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Perfect.
And then tip number 3 is surround yourself with the right people. And I find that so important. They say you always need to have like a good accountant, a good lawyer, and I think just a financial planner with you at all times. But at the same time, a lot of people give you a lot of advice, which may or may not be worthy of taking.
You mean free advice?
Free advice, exactly. But at the same time, a lot of people say, you can do this, you can do that. You want to have the right people, surrounded, so you can say to them, like, this is what I'm hearing. Is that really true? Like, can you do that? And I answer these kind of questions every day. But if you surround yourself with the wrong people, unfortunately, they give you the wrong advice.
That's right.
And although it may save you money in, for 1 or 2 or 3 years, eventually it catches up to you. And I've seen so many of those cases as well, where clients come to me where they're like, well, we were told to do this, and we did this, and now, we don't know what to do. So can you help us?
That's right.
So just have the right people, surrounding you.
Right help, right people, positive minds around you.
Definitely.
Very good advice. So third one, surround yourself with professionals and right-minded people so that they want what's best for you every day.
Right. And then, even if oftentimes people are worried that, I call my accountant and, or my lawyer, or I'll call my financial advisor, and then, I get a bill or it kind of comes in. Sometimes it's not about that. It's just about getting the right advice.
That's right.
Right. So even if at times, I generally tell clients, I don't want to bill you every time you call me because you won't call me. You're like, Harpreet sends me a bill. But it's not about the bill, right? It's just about getting the right advice. You have to find the person that you trust, that will give you the right advice for you in your situation.
Very, very important.
Yes.
I think especially nowadays, we have a lot of free advisors.
Google is a free advisor. I can tell you.
Yes.
I had a client, he messaged me and he says, he sent me this picture of that interest is deductible on your property, and he's like, why aren't we doing this? And I said, did you see the website? It's an it's a US website where you can do it in the US, but you can't do it in Canada.
Oh my goodness.
So there's so many of these kind of situations
Right.
where people just get these misconceptions and then they pass it along to everybody else that's around.
I think we're in the information overload mode.
Definitely.
Right? Everybody knows so much.
Right.
But do they all have the right information? We don't know. Okay.
Exactly.
Harpreet, I wouldn't let you go without giving some advice to young girls. They want to grow up and be Harpreet.
Oh.
Okay? So what is one or two things that they can start doing now as young women, young leaders, to be like you? Or even more?
So one advice that I know I tell my kids every day is, studying is important, being professional is important, but you gotta have fun. I look back at my time now when I was in university, and I kind of like put myself in the library where I was studying all the time. And now sitting at this point in time, I say to myself, I wish I had enjoyed a little bit more of my life. Not that I didn't enjoy, it's not that. As you get older, your responsibilities increase. I have kids, I have a family, your priorities change, right?
That's right. And I think your advice is twofold. You're saying this to young girls, young Canadians, but you're also saying this to parents,
Yes,
that,
definitely.
guide them, influence them, but let them also have some fun.
Let them have fun.
And
Definitely.
trust them.
I mean, I come from we're a very traditional family. I love my parents. I mean, I am who I am because of the way they raised us, right? But we had to be home by 10 o'clock. We weren't allowed to, go on trips with friends and stuff. And I wish, I had done that just to experience life. And I'm sure, once the kids are older, everything, we'll be able to do that. But it's just not having the stress of life before it starts it's a great feeling.
Well, I would want your parents. 10 o'clock is very lenient.
Really?
Our curfew was 6:30.
Oh, really?
So that's one very good tip. Anything else?
The other is just be positive. Believe in yourself. I think growing up, I had so many moments where I was like, this is wrong with me and this is wrong with me, etc.
Sometimes insecurities. Like I used to
They
always
still
feel my
exist.
nose is too long.
Yeah, my ears are too big.
Yeah,
I was
things
called
like
Dumbo
that.
growing up. But and I tell my kids the same thing, that there's certain, and it took me a long time to accept that I can't change that about myself.
No.
Unless I get plastic surgery. But obviously it's the way God's made you, right? You're natural that way. You're naturally beautiful that way. So just accept yourself the way you are. Believe in yourself. And if you do that, then the other people stop.
That's right.
They just stop because then they know they have nothing that gets to you. So now sometimes, when we went to Disney and there was the Dumbo ride, that my kids were like, oh yeah, let's go. And I was like, yeah, let's go. It'll be fun. So then it kind of puts an end to it, but you got to believe in yourself.
That's right. And I love the fact you said you have to remain positive. You have to accept who you are.
It's very important.
90% of our worry comes from how we react.
100%.
It's not from what people are saying about us. It's
Yeah.
how we react to what they're saying about us.
Well, if you don't believe in yourself, the other person will believe in you. I know, other than your parents and stuff, but generally, parents filter you up to a point, and then you're like released into the world, right? And when you get released into the world, if you don't believe in it, if you don't believe that I can do this, that this is me, this is how I am, it's a very hard adjustment to go into this magical world and prove to people that, Harpreet is somebody that you need to look out for.
That's
or
right.
Harpreet is this way, but that's just how she is. This
That's
is
right.
her.
That's
So
right.
believe in yourself.
Absolutely. Very, very good tips. Last question,
Yes.
Harpreet. So if people want to get in touch with you, I know you're very busy. Is there a way that you would like them to approach you? Email, contact number? Where can they call you or write to you?
So I do have an office. It's at Airport and Queen. So my phone number, if I can give it to you, or
You can
share
say it, and
Sure.
it will be on the screen as well.
Sure. So my phone number is 905-790-0657. And then you can even email me at Harpreet at Wadehra, WADEHRA, PC.ca. I'm happy. I mean, it's that busy time of the year, but we make time for everything that needs to be done, right? So
That's right.
call me, email me. I'm okay either way, and Seema knows me, so you can reach out to Seema as well, and she'll connect.
That's right. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so
having
much
you
for
here.
having me.
I know
Thank
how
you.
much you do for the community. I know how much support you offer to every event, every charitable event, anything that you can be at. You're almost like a person who has wings.
Oh my God, I have wings
Some-
because I have a good support system in the back. Trust me.
Someone who's
Thanks.
everywhere.
Thank you so
Supporting communities, supporting families, supporting businesses, and has taken the time out to come to the Money Minutes and help everybody that's watching this program. I want to thank everyone for watching, and stay tuned. Like our channel. If you like our interviews, please reach out to us if you have any questions. If you would like to see what the monthly budget sheet looks like that Harpreet uses, reach out to me. I will email it to you free of cost. So let me know how things are going for you, and we can follow up. All the best to you, and happy International Women's Day.
Thank you so much.